proposed and what I'm trying to accomplish here. As all of you know, the economic conditions have been deteriorating rapidly all around the world, across this country, and also here in California. In the 6 weeks since I've signed the last budget, the mortgage crisis has deepened, unemployment has increased, and the stock market has lost more than 20% of its value. And I know how painful this is to everyone here in California. Many of Californians have lost their homes, they've lost their jobs, retirement funds have disappeared, and everyone is worrying about the future. And all of this negative news, of course, has had a dramatic effect on our revenues of the state government. And also because California is overly dependent on income tax from capital gains. Making matters worse, the state unemployment insurance fund is on the brink of insolvency. So we don't have the luxury of waiting for January when I make my budget proposal or hold my State of the State address where I point out my vision or the goals that I have. We have a dramatic situation here, and it takes dramatic solutions and immediate action. We must stop the bleeding. People expect leadership, and they expect us all to work together. If it is the federal government or the state, if it is Democrats and Republicans, government and stakeholders, everyone here has to work together. I've been meeting regularly, as you know, with the legislative leaders, and we've had Big Five meetings, good, constructive Big Five meetings, and everyone agrees that it is necessary to have this special session. Now, here are the 4 problems that we want to tackle here. Number 1 is closing a projected current year shortfall of $11.2 billion caused by the stock market, by the real estate meltdown, and by higher unemployment. It would be irresponsible to close this, of course, all by just cuts. So therefore, I recommend a combination of reductions on programs and also increase in revenues. The reduction in this year will be a total of $4.5 billion across the variety of different programs, from education to prisons, from healthcare to social services, and so on. And when it comes to additional revenues, I propose raising $4.4 billion in the current year through a temporary 1.5% sales tax increase and other revenue generators that Mike Gineste will be talking about later on. With an unprecedented drop in our revenues, we absolutely have no choice. And we cannot delay or push the problem until the next year because we're going to run out of cash by end of February, and then we will be unable to meet our obligations. Now, number 2 is the mortgage crisis. Nothing will stimulate our economy and bring it back quicker than creating a stable housing market and keeping people in their homes. That's why we want to build on actions that we have already taken in this past year and this year, like last year's first in the nation loan modification agreements that we helped broker between loan services and homeowners. And also we signed Senator Parada's bill, SB 1137, which was last July, which requires lenders to contact homeowners and explore loan modifications before foreclosure. Our actions have actually helped to keep 125,000 people in their homes. But of course the crisis got worse, and therefore we need additional action now. In a special session, we will introduce legislation to keep even more people in their homes through a 90-day grace period or delay in foreclosure, teamed with an incentive to make mass modifications of home loans. Those modifications will reduce monthly mortgage payments for tens of thousands of at-risk homeowners by 25 to 30% through interest rate reductions, extended amortization periods, and deferral of principal. I also will use my bully pulpit to push the federal government to modify more home loans by using the $700 billion of the Federal Rescue Plan that Congress has approved. Number 3 is our economic stimulus package to help retain existing jobs and to create as many new jobs as possible. There are a number of steps that we can take. We have talked about it in the past, how we use infrastructure bond money to push it out as quickly as possible. Here are some additional ideas. We want to expedite $204 million in funding from our water bonds to improve our water quality and to protect water supplies. In transportation, for instance, we can appropriate more than $700 million in existing bond funds from what I call our pothole account. Using workforce development money is also very wise in this case because we would train the unemployed to take those local construction jobs. We can also expedite $800 million in transit projects up and down the state of California. We would accomplish this by exempting the bond projects from CEQA, or in its national equivalent, NEPA, if federal money is involved. I'm not proposing that we change CEQA, by the way. I'm remaining 100% committed to protecting California's environment. But during this severe economic crisis, I think we have to be creative here. We must do everything that we can to stimulate our economy and to put people back to work. California families in our state need this help, and it will be irresponsible to do otherwise. That's why we are also proposing to expedite the permit and plan review for hospital construction. By cutting the red tape for relatively small renovation work, we can speed up 500 hospital construction projects worth an estimated $164 million. I look forward to working with OSHPD, the Office of Statewide Health Planning and Development, to make all of this happen. As another part of our stimulus package, we also want to clarify and reform our labor laws and encourage job retention and creation. We should take advantage of the billions of dollars in potential savings to California businesses by allowing flexible work schedules that help employers and also help the workers. And number 4 is fixing the state's unemployment insurance fund. At a time when we need it most, because more and more people are seeking work, that's exactly the time we are running out of funds now. It is facing insolvency because of actions that were taken by previous administrations, which is to increase the benefits without increasing the funding. So this is a major problem. Eventually something like this catches up with you, and it did catch up with us now. I also will continue to push, of course, the federal government to further extend unemployment benefits for those who are seeking work. But the fact is that we have to straighten out our California system as quickly as possible, so there will be money available for those that are unemployed and need work and need money. Now, there are 3 ways, of course, to go about solving this problem. One is to put the burden on employers, which I would not recommend, or to put the burden on employees, like cut benefits for the unemployed. I would not recommend that either. Or we meet in the middle, where everyone has to give a little bit. I'm asking businesses to gradually pay more while we tighten eligibility and benefits slightly. Of course, if we take this action and do all of the things that I have just proposed, we will solve our revenue shortfall, get the people back to work, keep people in their homes, and keep our unemployment insurance fund solvent. So here's a big urgency because, as I've said, that we cannot wait any longer. Our problems will get worse. As a matter of fact, Eleanor Roosevelt once said that the things that you refuse to meet today always come back at you later on, usually under circumstances which make the decision twice as difficult as it was originally. And this was actually said exactly for our circumstances that we are in today. So I look forward to working with the legislators, hearing all of their ideas, and doing what is best for the people of California. We must all remember that California never stays down long. This is the greatest state in the greatest country in the world, that we have the most talented people, the most innovative people, the hardest working people, and the most diverse economy. There's no doubt about it that we'll be back. Thank you very much. Now,